Peace, salam. Hi, everybody. My name is Nkenge Browner. I do a lot of work. I do social justice activism, and I work at a place called Mothering Justice, and we do legislative campaigns specifically for Black mamas to make sure we are not being left out of campaign work. I do on the ground work to provide for Black mamas and connecting them with birth workers, doulas, midwives, all of that, to try to, for Black women to regain the centering when we were the birth workers, and we weren't so dependent on hospitals, but we depended on our sisters to help us bring babies into the world and to help lower these maternal rates. And that's what I do. And I'm also a writer. So I write poetry, I write essays, I write policy, I write everything. I write specifically to capture and expound upon the experiences of Black women, Black mamas, Black urban folks, Black lesbians, all of the Black Muslim women, all of the identities that I hold. So yeah, I do a lot of work. And one of the things that I also do is I lead vision board gatherings. I do libations, and I pour libations, and I lead meditation circles. Sometimes it's not a circle, but I lead meditation. And all of that goes into the theory or self-care works. And I feel like we've overindulged. I've heard folks say self-care so much, to the point where if you overhear something, it starts to kind of lose meaning, or it starts to not feel as impactful as it should, right? And I also feel like we introduced the concept of self-care like it's this very, yes, honey. We introduced the theory of self-care like it's this thing where you have to go backpacking in Europe, or you have to find time in your schedule all the time to make it happen. Or often as a mother, and you guys will hear my kid, like my son just asked for a donut, my kids come through, I don't silence them while we're working from home during this time. They at home too, and I let them do their thing, but I still have to do my thing, right? And so I talk to mamas often about meditation practices that work for them. Because a lot of times we're receiving advice about self-care from well-meaning folks who are not doing yoga with like a baby crying in the background. And so they're able to offer you advice that doesn't necessarily fit your life, right? And I wanted to offer mamas meditation practices that you can do with your kids present, because it's also not realistic to need your kids away from you all the time to do these practices. And honestly, most of the time when you need to like call on these practices and center yourself and ground yourself, it's because your kid's right there, right? And so I wanted to make an offering in that way, that we talk about mama's meditation in a way that actually makes sense for us, and not this kind of commercialized way that has become the way of the world, right? I remember the first time I heard about self-care, this woman was telling me about how she backpacked in Europe for 2 weeks. Sounds incredible. I ain't gonna be able to do it right now. If you can do that, then you don't need my help. I need your help. So let's talk after this. I will be talking like to you, so I hope people are able to chat back, because yeah, I like to be in person with people, but I also want to be safe and healthy. So please drop in the chat. Let's kick it. If you can come off speaker and talk, please do so as I throw things out there. So the first thing I'm going to ask you all to do, well, one, do folks have a journal? I let Paige know, or let folks know who is organizing this, to ask folks to have journals. So do you have a journal? If you don't have a journal, please get a journal or a scrap piece of paper, some you can write on and jot a few things down on. I'll wait I'll wait about 30 seconds while folks grab their pen or their journal. If you get your journal, I in the chat, drop yes, type got it, say something to me in the chat. Let me know you got your journal. So, my personal theory about the way the body is set up is your words, you know, they come from within and then you push them out. And so they're in front of you and they lead you. We are led by our words. And so what you say, your body follows, right? When you are already tired, you say, oh, I'm so tired. You feel even, your body gives into that even more, right? Not to say the feeling wasn't already present, but you own it, you set it in front of you, you pushed it out, and now you're leading yourself with your words. So, and I want to be clear that everything that I say, I'm working on constantly. I remember it and I forget it, and I remember it and I forget it, because stressors cause us to forget the progress that we make. And they send us right back into our trauma selves, our childhood selves, our hopeless selves sometimes. And so just always remember to come back. So in your journal and to yourself, I want you to make an I am statement. You start not I am. So you say I am, and then you say something that you know to be true about yourself, no matter what. Nothing that is tied to your identity as a mother, nothing that is dependent on another person, on a job, on anything that can be taken away from you. Make your I am statement and let it be something that you know is to be true about you, no matter what. And I will model, I'll drop mine in the chat. Once you've written your I am statement in your journal, drop it in the chat so we can be in community with one another. Let's see, I am generous, I am creative, I am caring. I am cautious, I am giving. I am strong, I am hardworking. And I'll wait for one more and then we'll continue. I always say, remind yourself and tap into your I am statement. That's for you, that is yours, write it down. I have mine written with an eyebrow pencil on my mirror in my bathroom. And sometimes I change it, but throughout the day, we offer ourselves, we make offerings to others of our time, even our identity, right? When I show up to my son's school, I don't show up as Nkenge, the writer, the poet. I show up as Patrick's mom, right? And that expands my identity, it doesn't diminish it, but I have to remember that like at some point, I won't be the woman who needs to show up to a school anymore, right? and my identity at that point will depend solely on who I am. So I keep my I ams present in my life, and I know these to be true. I know that in an argument, if someone is saying something negative about me, I know that when I don't believe that I'm a good person, I'm having a bad day and I'm having self-depreciative thoughts, I know my I ams to be true. So meditation itself, a lot of folks don't participate in meditation because they feel like they don't have time. And often folks feel like, I just simply cannot, I can't sit down for 2 hours and meditate, right? Toni Morrison, peace be upon her, she was, I think they said she meditated 4 hours every single day. And I was like, I ain't got it in me. I ain't got the 4 hours, and I ain't got it in me to sit still that long. And that is an advanced level of meditation. But for most of us, it is really hard to clear your mind for even a solid minute. And so we're gonna practice today, clearing our mind in a meditative state. We're gonna start right now, just for 10 seconds. Just for 10 seconds. So what we're gonna try to do, I'm gonna be silent, and I'll time it and count to 10. But during that time, silence all of your thoughts and just hear everything around you. Don't start making a grocery list. Don't start thinking about, damn, did I leave them clothes in the dryer? None of that. When it pops up, silence it. And just keep bringing yourself back to clarity, right? 10 seconds. That's it. And we're going to start now. 10 seconds of meditation. So in that 10 seconds, most people's brain had 3 different thoughts. That's the statistic there. Like generally we're gonna have 3 thoughts that quickly, right? And because you came here to meditate and you're thinking about it, your brain is still trying to do that multitask back end work. So we're gonna do another 10 seconds just to get into the practice of clearing your mind and just hearing what's going on around you, not your thoughts, silencing your thoughts. So we're gonna go into meditation again, emptying your thoughts and silencing your thoughts, experiencing clarity for 10 seconds again. So you took 10 seconds for clarity. You were not showing up for anybody. You were not contributing to capitalism. You were not taking care of anybody, and everything is okay. You gave yourself a short amount of time to have clarity, to have peace, to not be rushing toward a deadline. And look, everything is exactly the same. That is true in 10 seconds. That is true in 10 minutes. That is true in 10 hours. Give yourself what you need. So now we're gonna practice doing this. Now we're gonna practice doing this for 30 seconds. And I am going to use a little bit of music because music is helpful for me. I'm gonna do it once with music and once without. So we're going into 30 seconds with music. So one of the things that always comes up in my meditation classes is when I play music, they're like, oh, it's like regular music, right? If you find peace in rainforest sounds or things like that, or meditation music, that's wonderful. Personally, I don't know if it's African to me, I like the rattling of instruments and all of that, and that centers me, and I love words, so I like music where the words are calming to me. So use what works for you. Don't ever feel like, oh, I'm not deep because I'm not using the meditation music that's provided on YouTube or whatever. If you meditate to Mary J. Blige, do your thing. If she gets you centered, now if she getting you mad, that might not be your meditation music. It might be your cleaning music or something like that. But meditate to whatever makes sense for you. We're gonna do 30 seconds again without the music. And this time we're gonna go into it with a deep breath. And then I'm gonna come out of it the right way, because now I'm just kind of stopping and moving. And you should come out of meditation with grace. But I wanted us to get in the practice of clearing our minds. And so that we could do that. And then we're going to do 30 seconds without music, but going into it, we're breathing and coming out with grace. So we're about to go into 30 seconds. Get your mind prepared, get your body prepared. Sit how you need to sit. You don't have to do the crisscross applesauce thing. I'm sitting in a chair because that's how I like to sit. It feels comfortable. I love this chair. Wherever you feeling tight, pay attention to it and let it go. If you tied up in the shoulders, roll them out. If you tight in the back, posture correctly. If it's in your chest, let it go. If you're having a migraine coming on, if you're tight, if you hold your stress up here, push it away. Stay present. Unlock your jaw. Sit correctly. And by correctly, I mean comfortably. And I'm gonna give you, let's take 3 deep breaths, and then I'll give you a 3, 2, 1 countdown into the 30-second meditation. So breathe in deeply, hold, and exhale. Breathe in deeply, hold, and exhale. Third time, breathe in deeply, hold, and exhale. Three, 2, 1. Coming out of meditation, back present with your mind, present with your body. Again, present with what's surrounding you. Tune in to any place you're tight in your body, any place you're stressed. Think about 30-second meditations. Like, as soon as you get into it, I pull you out of it. So I do that though to let you understand that, like, once you get past those hard 10, 15 seconds and you kind of relax into it, you can get through a minute. And I suggest you start meditating just a minute a day or a minute at a time, right? I would not suggest anybody start off trying to do an hour or anything like that. And at 30 seconds, if you started thinking about something, just redirect yourself and don't make it a big thing inside of your body. You haven't failed at anything. You just redirect yourself, right? The same thing if you are in your car and the lines start to curve, you start to veer something, you just redirect the car smoothly. Don't make, oh my God, you just keep going smoothly. If you start to think about, I should make macaroni tonight, just nope, veer back. That's all you have to do. So I want to talk about, like I talked about in the beginning, I call it auntie self-care. Folks that are expressing to you these long, you need to take a 30-minute bath every single day or hour bath every day. You need to do this and do that. And it's like, if it's not realistic for your life, then it's useless, right? And you start to detach from self-care when people only talk about it in those ways. So right now in your journal, and then I'm going to ask you to share it in the chat, but in your journal, write down the realistic self-care goal that you can do every day. You might not do it every day, but you can. For me, I make myself tea. And when I'm making myself tea, I don't make anybody else anything. I don't make you a plate of food while I'm making myself tea. I don't help you take the knot out your shoe. I don't help you find a charger. I don't do nothing. When I'm making tea, it takes me about 5 minutes or so. That's all I'm doing. And that is my self-care. That's my time in the world where I'm not multitasking for one moment in my life. So what is a realistic self-goal for you? Mine is making tea just for me. Okay. Folks want to share with us in the chat, what is a realistic self-care goal for you? Or something you can do every day just for you? Thank you, Tabitha. Yes, visiting a body of water weekly to allow the stillness to cleanse my negative energy. I love that. I love that. I love Belle Isle. I'm in Detroit and I just found it's a little river area and I find a new place every time I'm there. And I think when you have a weekly ritual like this, it's calming because let's say Tabitha does this every Thursday, right? Even though she doesn't go every day, her mind and her body knows that Thursday is at the most 6 days away, right? And then 5 days, and then 4 days, and then so on. Then, oh, I'm going tomorrow. So giving yourself that is a particular sense of calm. Like, okay, I just got to make it to Thursday and make it to my spot by the water, and I'm okay. I love that. If you have the luxury of being able to visit a body of water, whether it's natural, manufactured, however it can get to you, please do so. Incorporate that. If water brings you, don't go out there with the bugs on your nerves, but if the water brings you kindness and steel, thank you, Tabitha. And that goes into the next thing that I wanted to talk about. Often we talk about as mamas, like what we can't do or what we have trouble doing or can't get to and stuff like that. But I want us to celebrate our luxuries. So again, you can say this out loud. It's really beneficial to say it out loud, but if you want to write it down, that is fine too. Announce your luxuries, right? Putting my phone on do not disturb each night at a designated time. Listen, putting your phone on do not disturb is such a beautiful, beautiful practice. I'm so glad my phone, I don't even know how it happened on my phone. I did like that nighttime app or something, but it put my phone, it's so beautiful because you know what happens? It trains people in your life that it is useless to call you at a certain time and that you're not intentionally not picking up or anything. They know your phone is on do not disturb. In any emergency, anything that would rattle you, anything that would keep you from a peaceful night's sleep is going to have to figure itself out. And also you are in control. We are so accustomed to deadlines and bells and whistles telling us what to do, right? We hear the ding on our phone and we just naturally boom, boom, boom. Let that phone chill sometime. Let that phone chill. It is at best a communication device and at worst a tether. Minimize how often it's a tether in your life. My phone on do not disturb right now. It's often on do not disturb. They should have never gave me do not disturb. It's absolutely necessary. But yeah, your nights are yours. Your nights are yours. Try to make them as much yours as you want to. Even if you stay up all night watching TV, your night is yours. I want us to say, to announce our luxuries. I feel as though, and I live as though, Black women are, one, we weren't afforded a lot of luxuries historically. And as time has changed somewhat, in many ways, in some regards, not so much, we have access to luxuries our mamas didn't have, our grandmas didn't have, whatever, or whoever raised you. And I see Black women denounce their luxury so much, right? I used to do this a lot. People would say, oh, that's a nice dress. And I'd be like, girl, I got it on sale. But not in a braggy way. It was more like, oh no, don't think I spent a lot of money on it. Or I'd be like, yeah, it's from the thrift store, right? And we're so often, we'll like start to counter our compliments. You're like, girl, your hair is so pretty. Like, oh yeah, it's kind of breaking off, but I'm glad it's grown in. We have to get to a place where we own our luxuries, we deserve our luxuries, and not even because you work for them, but because you exist. So you deserve all of your luxuries because you exist. That's it. If you worked really hard to get them, that's fine, but that's actually a system that is crappy and you should not have to participate in. You deserve your luxuries because you exist. So I want us to take some time. I'm gonna do mine out loud. You can come off mute if you choose to and do yours out loud. You can drop them in the chat, or you can just write in your journal, however you want to participate. But I'm gonna announce 3 of my luxuries. Yes, Tabitha. I'm gonna announce 3 of my luxuries. And some of them, if you feel like I don't want to say this, so I want to make people feel bad or whatever, that's fine. Say it to yourself. Your luxury is not about looking down on anybody else or anything else. It's just celebrating you, and that's okay. So today I have the luxury of sitting on my sun's porch. I have the luxury of living in a neighborhood that I'm gonna go walking in later. And today I have the luxury of the ability to buy myself a new plant. I might not do it, but I'm gonna walk to the plant store. I have the luxury to experience my porch. I have the luxury to go to this plant store, and I have the luxury to do so in a neighborhood that I feel safe to do so in. And I'm just allowing time for folks to not only announce their luxuries, but just sit back for a second and really think of them, exist in them, right? And if luxury starts to feel like privilege for you, just remember you're a Black woman and none of this was supposed to be for you, and you got access to it anyway.
Okay, this is a wonderful session. So my luxuries are number one is actually to be unmuted. I was raised in the Midwest, and I was always told that I did not have a voice and that I should remain quiet. But, you know, as I grew older and I experienced the world, I came to the conclusion that, wait a minute, I do have a voice. What I have to say is very important. So unmuting myself is a luxury for me. The other one is to be authentically myself. And then to be able to just walk into the mall and buy my children clothes. I grew up very poor. My mother could never buy what I buy for my children. And so I'm proud to be able to do that for my children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tabitha. I appreciate that, everything you said, Tabitha. One of the things I want also us as mothers to be mindful of, I had this revelation with my child. When I was younger, my mom had to tell us no for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. A lot of things we knew not to ask for. She just could not afford it. Like, it wasn't even like a debate. Like, no, I can't do, you know. And I remember and then growing up, I would always, when I have a baby, I'm never gonna, like, you know, I did this thing of like thinking my mom was so bad. So I'd be like, when I have a baby, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say no. And my first child was 13 now, whenever we went anywhere, and it was like I was trying to prove to my childhood self that I wasn't poor no more. Whatever he asked for, if we went to a carnival, he wanted, you know, a bunch of food, he'd take one bite, throw it down. I don't care. Mama got money, whatever, you know. And so one day we were in Rite Aid and he wanted one of those little bitty cars that I knew he would just lose and it would end up under the bed somewhere. And I was just like, no. And my no, I just said no and I left it at that. And I remembered my mother saying no all the time, and I tuned into it. No, because I can't, and no, because I don't want to as a mother. Is so different, right? I remember my mother even being embarrassed and that she would kind of announce, she was talking to me, but she would be announcing really to other people, no, you don't need that. You just lose all your toys anyway. I just bought you all that stuff for Christmas, right? But that was her trying to like feel okay with her no, because she couldn't. And when I know to say no to my kids, it's such a luxury. No is a luxury. No, you straight, you're not getting it. Get over it. I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. I can say yes and I can say no. And that is what freedom is, the ability to say both yes or no with the same, and you are exactly in the same place.
And I should have reframed that a little bit, because it's not that they get everything they want, but because we didn't have anything, I never got a choice. You know, we went to the thrift store and I could get what I could wear, you know, and there was not usually like, oh, you could get purple or blue, or you could, no, I just had to get. So my children can actually go and say, oh, you know, I like this would look good on me, or I like that color. So I can afford for them to have a choice. I didn't even know what I liked until I started making money and could choose. And I had a hard time with that because I didn't have that opportunity when I was growing up.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I got from the first time. It just made me think of when I told my son no, but yeah, that's it. You can go to the mall with your children and maybe you'll get snacks, maybe you'll buy them an outfit, who knows? But you can't, it's up to you. It's up to you. Exactly. I love it. Then that's such a freedom, it's such a luxury, right? And our kids don't even know. And there's so much luxury in that. There's luxury in not knowing that your mama. So that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna say no to my kids today so I can buy plants. So, but then I'm gonna say yes tomorrow because somebody needs shoes. I'm gonna go into a meditation that I do often, and it's about seeing yourself. It's called Flowers. I developed it years ago. And so there's silent meditation. There is meditation when folks use music or nature sounds. And then there are where people lead you in meditation using their words. And I'm going to do one. I'm going to do a led or a guided meditation is often called. I'm going to do a voice led or guided meditation right now. And if you're like, this don't work for me, power through it with me. And then you just know this isn't your style. Your style might be silence, your style might be with music, and your style might be with someone's voice. I will say there's been in the meditation world in the last couple of years, more Black women doing their audio recordings for meditation, because a few years ago, all meditations were like in either white men or white women's voices. And for a lot of Black people, that just was not comforting. Okay, ice cream truck. That was not comforting for us, and then get us to a place where we could like feel settling. There's something that can feel unsafe to some of us about just the presence of white voices. So if you go online, if you go to YouTube, you do have to still type in Black meditation, if that's more comforting to you, right? And it usually is, whether we're aware of it or not. I feel a lot of comfort in Black women's voices because that's who's always taking care of me. So it's just something to think about. But we're going to this meditation. It's called Flowers. If you are able to and you feel safe, you're going to close your eyes to this. I'm going to kind of guide you into seeing yourself, but I'll leave it open. And you are to tell us like what it is that you end up visualizing. You can tell us, or you can just write it down. But this is very much so about how you see yourself and not how other people see you. So we'll go into it with 3 breaths, and then I'll go into the meditation. Also, I don't tell people how long to hold their breaths, because after COVID and all of that, I will never want to assume anybody's breathing capability. So I just say, let it in and let it out. Do it to your comfort. But do 3 deep breaths, and then we'll get started. 1. I want you to imagine with me that the universe planted a seed into the soil, and it found the deepest, darkest, most mineral-filled soil it could find to plant this seed, because there was only one. The seed went into the ground. It was covered. It was protected. It was nurtured. It split open and began to sprout root. And the sun loved it in the morning, and the rain loved it in the afternoon, and the moon loved it at night. And it started to sprout and push upward through the soil. Sprouted upward and pushed upward through the soil. And it sprouted upward again and pushed upward through the soil until it pushed through. And the roots grew wilder and stronger. They found their way. The stem of the flower grew. And it thanked the sun for loving it in the day. It thanked the rain for loving it in the afternoon. And thanked the moon for loving it at night. It started to grow petals. And it grew petals, and they were strong. And it grew leaves, and they were strong. And they grew more petals. And the older petals matured. And it began to also drip nectar, and it began to also give off a perfume. This flower was the most wonderful color. And everyone that came around it loved it enough to admire it, but also enough to know that if they could on it, it wouldn't exist anymore, so they didn't touch it. The perfume that it gave off could not be duplicated. There was only one seed. The way the petals were shaped, no one had ever seen before. And this flower is you. There's one you, one seed planted into the universe. Your scent cannot be duplicated. Your petals can't be reimagined. Walk toward this flower. Visualize yourself walking toward this flower. Sit with it. What color is it? What does it smell like? How is it shaped? We're gonna come out of this meditation slowly and gracefully, and I'll stand back up. Tell the flower goodbye. Let the flower know how much you admire it. Step away. Walk away from it. So remember, it is protected, and it is covered, and it is loved, and its roots are so strong. The universe was so mindful of where it planted it, acknowledging that there is only one seed like this. And we're gonna come out of meditation, come back into our bodies, back into our minds. If your eyes were closed, open your eyes. And share with us, if you are comfortable, share with us, what did your flower look like? If you raise your hand, you can be taken off mute. Let us know what your flower looked like, what it was shaped like, what color it was, and what was it, and describe its scent. I'm gonna encourage everyone to, if guided meditations work for you, to look them up. There are plenty out in the world. I like that one because every time I visualize myself that way, I look like a different flower. And it's amazing what your mind does when you're not being coached, when no one is saying the purple flower tulip that does this and blah, 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 right? It's amazing where your mind goes and what you learn about yourself when you're not being told what to think, when you're just being given that freedom to kind of figure it out. Yeah, and so I'm going to play this song that I use daily. It's by Janae Aiko. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right ever, but it is called Trigger Protection Mantra, and it's a 7-minute song. We're gonna do at least 5 to 6 minutes of it so we can exit out of it properly. But you can listen if you feel, listen to it and take it in. She uses singing bowls, which I love. If anybody has any questions about those, we can talk about singing bowls. but she uses singing bowls, and they're playing in the background kind of, and she just kind of softly repeats, "I am protected." And that's important to me because one of the things I feel as a mother, I'm always protecting someone else, and as a Black woman, that I am under as a Black person and as a woman, constantly worried about the attacks of the world. And you go out into the world differently when you know that you are protected, right? And so I play this usually when I'm getting ready in the morning, when I'm doing my makeup or something like that, because I have to remind myself that I'm protected and I'm safe, and I want you all to experience that feeling. But also, it's 7 minutes, and it's important to know that because for a lot of us, the feeling of safety comes from we know what is going to happen next. So for the next 5 to 7 minutes, I'm going to play this song, and then while that's happening, try to empty your mind, silence everything around you, and just tune into the fact that you are protected. If you need something mental to physical, if something to visualize yourself as that flower. Go back and hang out with your flower. And you can hang out with your flower anytime. When the kids get on your nerves, when you try not to cuss somebody out at work, when you about to hang up on this customer and you know you work customer service and it's being recorded, you can visit your flower anytime. So we're gonna take 3 breaths, and then I'm gonna go into this song, and then we'll come out of it and say goodbye. and present with your physical space. You are protected. I hope what is in your journal in your journey is your I am statement, your daily or weekly self-care practice, and your statements of luxury that you need to grow, not you need, that may be beneficial for you to continue to grow every time. It keeps you in a space of gratitude and this kind of Black woman humbleness that I believe we need to shake off to some degree. Like, enough being humble. Let's be more luxurious and be okay with that. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope that you all gained something from this time together. I hope that meditation as a practice it feels a little more accessible, and that you're more encouraged to find ways that work for you. Thank you all for attending this conference. It's so dope that Black Girl Space is existing and we making sure that COVID ain't stopping it from happening. Thank you. And I will, I'm in touch. If anybody wants to contact the organizers for my email, if you have more questions, want to talk more about meditation, please let me know. My name is Nkenge Browner, and I hope you all enjoy the next session. Peace.